listen up, y'all. It's the queen of automation, Meghan, Donnelly, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need for complicated.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Queen of Automation podcast, where we talk about technology and operations and how I help you make them work, because they don't work oftentimes, and we like to try to make them simpler and work better. And again, you've all experienced this. I am recording from my phone because guess what? The technology didn't work on the computer. So here we are. And today, this is going to be a fun 30 minutes because Bill Fanter, who again, I've met in brand builds and all over LinkedIn, because we have this thing that we're obsessed with. It's called LinkedIn. And Bill does something which I think is pretty fantastic. He makes day trading or live trading simpler and teaches people how to do it the right way, which I was just telling him before we hit record. At the end of the day, yes, we all say we're building a lifestyle. We want to work when we want to work and all of that wonderful things. But at the end of the day, let's be real. We all just want to make more money. So he's got another channel of revenue that makes you more money. So I would love it, Bill, if you could tell everybody where you're calling in from and do a way better job of introducing yourself than I just did, because you do all sorts of fun stuff.
Sure. So ironically, I'm calling in from the gambling capital of the world, Las Vegas.
Woo!
So even though it's crazy, I don't gamble. Literally, I can go to a casino and I will not take a single dollar out of my pocket, primarily because, right, the odds aren't in my favor and they didn't build these billion-dollar casinos on a bunch of winners, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, you're helping people win or with live trading, which
Yeah.
what I love about your content and watching you, and as you kind of talk about like what you're doing, you make it easy. Everyone thinks it's really, really complicated. And I'm not saying that there's not any complexity to it, right? Like math
Sure.
and numbers are hard for some people. But what I love about your content and the way you talk about it and the way that you show up to the world is that it's easy to follow and easy to understand, which I think is what most of the time scares people away. Am I wrong?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. When you think about the premise of quote unquote day trading, right, everybody only has horror stories. There's very few really positive things that you'll hear, whether it's in
Right.
person, friends, family, social media. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that people who try day trading, in all honesty, they don't even know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
They see an Instagram, a TikTok, a Facebook of someone like me or another professional
Those are
trader,
the worst. You're
right?
doing a really good job. Most of those people are just like, I'm like, so you put a shirt and tie on and no, it doesn't work that way. Anyway, sorry, I cut you off. Go.
No, you're good, right? I mean, so just in general, the connotation of what I do has a very negative perception, just socially. And if you really were to take time and learn about how the market works, it's not that complicated. And I say it's not complicated because let's think about this. The stock market only goes up or it only goes down. It goes in two directions. That's it.
Yeah.
Right? And the one thing with the market is that history repeats itself over and over and over again. So you'll get a stock, let's pick one, right? Where it will sell off to a certain level. And every time it gets to this level, an algorithm steps in and says, this is a great buy the stock. Or when a stock gets to a higher price level, the algorithm from the market makers will step in and say, this thing is overbought, it's overvalued, trim your position. So what I teach people to do is just read what is going to happen in the market when a stock gets to a specific price level. And in all honesty, the history will repeat itself 8 out of 10 times. So that's how you get a decent win rate. That's how you manage risk and you become the house, because the probabilities are in your favor that the market maker is going to do the same thing they did 10 times as what they did in the past.
I absolutely love that you just said it. it only goes two ways. It's either going up or down, right? It's like people make this like thing so complex. I'm like, well, it can't do anything else, you know? So you have to, and do you agree with the mindset of, because I've heard it said so many times, like if you don't, if you're completely risk adverse, like you don't want any risk at all, don't play the stock market.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. I would agree.
duh. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
like you walking into a casino.
Yeah,
Duh.
yeah.
If you don't
Right.
want to lose money, don't put your $20 in the slot machine. Like it's
It,
not, I don't understand why this is so completely hard for people to grasp. If you
yeah.
don't want to risk losing money, don't play.
Yeah. It's funny because most people who will badmouth day trading or the stock market have never even truly invested or learned any core fundamentals about it, right? They just saw that, oh my gosh, and we've been watching it all week with a lot of the meme stocks. Open is a great example of it. That it was up 50% or SRPT. There's a whole host of them. So right now the
Yeah.
market, because it's trading at all-time highs, is back in the greed mode where we are taking flyers like Peloton or Open, GameStop, right? Things that have no good core investing fundamentals. And the traders are just trading the volatility. And that's where they're walking away with these ridiculous returns. So if someone who doesn't know what they're doing just sees it again on social media, and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy, like Bill Fanter, just walked away with 20 grand in a day. I mean, if he can do it, I can surely do it. And then they jump in with no context, no
Yep.
knowledge, no experience, and then they lose everything. And they're like, well, that sucked.
It's
Like,
Bill's
this is a
fault.
scam, right?
It's your fault. You
It is.
created a TikTok video, and I decided to be stupid and follow you without like understanding what you were doing. So it's your fault.
So you want
It's
to hear
everybody
something
else's fault.
something, Megan, that'll really blow your mind is in every trade, there are two partners, right? There's a buyer and a seller. So if I win a trade, then the person on the opposite end of my trade lost. And likewise, if I lose, someone on the other end of the trade won. It's literally a bifurcated system where it's one and one. It's not one against 10,000 or one against a million. It's you versus one other person. Now, it could be an individual, could be a market maker, could be a hedge fund, could be anybody, right? But that
Right.
doesn't really matter if you just trade the technicals of the market.
That is a great segue into what I want to talk about next, because I obviously want to talk about the operations side of this, right? Because to me, and this is the financial systems of our country, the actual like technology and systems are kind of crap. I mean, they
Yeah.
really are. Like our banking system and banking technology, the guys that handle our money, their software is really shitty, which is so crazy to me because it's like, you have my money. Why does your stuff suck so bad? Like, I would really prefer you to fix this. And they're so antiquated, and it just blows my mind. Is the trading industry niche or whatever you want to call it, is it the same way? Are the technology systems really outdated and kind of, I don't know, wishy-washy? I don't even know what the right term is.
Yeah, it's getting better. So the banking core platform is the way that it is because of rapid expansion, right? And so banks just kept buying banks, buying banks, buying banks. You can't redevelop the automation, so you just tie all these different core systems together. Now, the trading world is a little bit different because it's much more, I don't want to say entrepreneurial, but it's more tech heavy. So when you're looking at my screens, and I hear this all the time, right? When I post that I'm in a trade, people are like, oh my gosh, that looks like you're
I
sitting
love
in
your
a spaceship.
pictures, by the way.
Right? Bill, how do you even know what is going on? You got green and red and arrows and lines and everything going up and down and what have you. And those are the indicators, right? And it's the automation that's running behind the scenes to say, is the market bullish, i.e., are we going up, or is it bearish and we're going down? I will say that it is not perfect, but there's also, unfortunately, very few players in the space. So if you're going to trade what I trade, options, the primary broker is Charles Schwab's Thinkorswim. So when you have 20 million traders on the same platform all trading, and there's a glitch, for the most part, we're all
Yeah.
screwed.
There's nothing you can do. This goes back to, because everyone, people like yourself, everyone from every industry always asks me that question. Well, what happens when stuff goes down? Nothing. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing I can do.
Hmm.
We had that about, what was it, about 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, about a month ago, when Google and Amazon went down, and I got people calling me up. Well, what are you gonna do? What do you mean, what am I gonna do? This is Google and
Nothing.
Amazon. Yeah, I'm like, this is Google and Amazon. I have no control. Like, I'm just like, here you go. I'm gonna go to the pool for the day, because like, there's absolutely nothing you can do. And it's the same situation in this, and it's the same situation. I love making the comparison to the actual stock market. You
Yeah.
have no control whether it goes up or down.
None. It's
And
interesting
that's the
because
part that people don't get. They think they can like hack the system and figure out the algorithm. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. Did you figure out LinkedIn's algorithm? No.
yeah, so when you think about, markets like that I trade in and what I trade, it's not me moving the market and it's no retail trader moving the market. It's a hedge fund. It's a market maker that's taking like a $800 million position in Apple. And then as soon as that position hits the wire, right, then everybody's antennas go up like, oh my gosh, they're putting on this huge size. What am I missing, right? And then that's where greed and fear. So the market works purely on greed and fear. Greed makes it go up, fear makes it go down, and we
Yep.
try to really think through what is happening behind the scenes to determine whether it's going to the upside or to the downside. But interestingly enough, it's not even the broker software that's usually a problem. It's actually the internet connection companies that create the most amount of volatility because I'm streaming
Yep.
millions of bits of data per
Yep.
second, right? And even though I have 5G and 6G and I'm hardlined wired into the
It
system,
doesn't matter.
doesn't matter, right? And you'll get this little glitch, or you'll see that, oh my gosh, everything just paused for like 1.5 seconds. Like,
Yep.
what's going on here? And it's the internet providers that can't stream, even though they sell you, right? 5G,
Oh,
6G, like
please. Yeah.
it's crazy. This is like gaming times 1,000.
Yep.
But it's something that we all deal with and we learn how to work around it.
I thank you for saying that, because that's the other thing, right? People get really upset, right? Like, I own we own a CRM system, Digital Magic CRM, and people
Mm-hmm.
get really upset, like, oh, it's really slow today. And I'm like, no, your internet's slow. Or
Exactly.
if you're using Chrome, Chrome is the most popular browser in
Mm-hmm.
the world, and it is also the worst browser in the world because of its caching system. Awful. Like, it's so awful.
Really,
And
really.
you're never, oh, it's so bad. Like, so that also affects it. And so people don't realize that, like, the things that you can't control, I can't control your caching on your Google Chrome. Like, I just can't. I can tell you how to turn it off. I can tell you how to clear it. I can tell you all the tips and tricks that we use to make things faster. I can use Cloudflare to make the platform run faster, because Cloudflare does its own thing. But you can't control the internet. You can't control the thing that you're running it on. And if you're running anything off of Wi-Fi, well, duh. It's one of those things
Right?
where you should understand it's Wi-Fi. It's going through the air. Like, you can't control any of that stuff. I would love if you're up for it, to give our audience like a mini lesson. Like, if someone wants to start doing this, what should they do? Obviously, at the end of this, I'm going to have you give all of your contact information. We're going to drop it in the show notes, right? So that people can just direct connect to you and talk to you. But I would love it if you would give us a mini lesson. Like, where do we even start? Like, let's say you're coaching me. How do I do this? Where do I
Yep.
start?
So I'm going to tell you something that you will never even believe that I would start with. And it's going to be you have to get your psychology in order because trading is 80% psychological, 20% technical. So I have every one of my students read a book. It's called Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. And he is one of the foremost authors on the psychology of trading and investing. So even when I do all my one-on-one coaching with students, and we'll look at their entry and their exit of where their order was and where it got filled, and I'll ask, why'd you stop out there? Like, why did you take profits there? And it always comes back to, I was nervous. I was scared. I didn't want to get too greedy. So the answer wasn't, oh, well, Bill, we're at a different, we're at a take profit price level. It was just like I was nervous, right? Because they're seeing on the screen the way I help set them up their software is when they get in an order, they see their P&L right there and it's
Yep.
moving. Like literally, right? I'm green, I'm red, I'm green, I'm red, I'm up 100, I'm down 100, I'm up 1,000. Right now I'm only up 300. And then so it's this thing back and forth with greed and fear, right? I was just up 1,000. Now I'm only up 300. Now I'm down 100. And so it's just like, sit on your hands, don't do anything
Breathe.
until the chart invalidates your setup, right? So I try to teach all the technicals. But if we can't get our head wrapped around the psychology of it, then it becomes quite challenging for a lot of people. And then they'll do
Yeah.
stupid things like doubling down or upping their contract size or not adhering to the rules, right? So I set all kinds of rules for my students that say, if this is your account size, here's the rules you're going to play by. And you can only trade up to 10% of your account balance. You can only take 2, maybe 3 trades a day. That's it. This is not a sit here for 8 hours and you get to click buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, right? So we are waiting for a technical level. We are going to adhere and follow rules because if you don't have risk management, the market will just take your money from you, right?
Yeah.
And so I would say that I would have you start with, let's get down to the psychology of what you're going to encounter with me before you even get started. Because once you get into the software, it becomes more of a gamification, for a lack of better terms. And then
Right.
once you're sucked into it, you're like, I don't need any help with my psychology, right? I got this, and you'll make money, make money, make money, and then you'll lose it all. And I'm like, I told you so.
Really feel like listening to you talk. First of all, you are a great public speaker because this is amazing to me. But I feel like everyone who goes into live trading and before they meet with you or when they wake up in the morning, they should just take a little, forgive me for saying this, like take a THC gummy and just like
Yeah,
mellow out. Here,
exactly.
put this in
Exactly.
your mouth, chew it up, and then come back to me in a half an hour, and then we will be ready to go, and then I can get into this thing with you. Because that's, I mean, really the fear of losing, right? And everyone calls, FOMO and all of this other crap that's
Yeah.
out there just in every industry, but in your industry especially, fear of losing, right?
Mhm.
Oh, and that's why I said at the top of the hour, if you're afraid to lose money, you probably don't want to be trading money or trading
Oh, you're
anything, right?
right. Yeah. And especially when people are trading with money, let's think about this. It's quote unquote W 2 money, right? So the government already took their taxes, the state took its taxes. You had to work and give up hours to have an investable amount. And then the question is what portion of that are you willing to at least put at risk? Now, don't get me wrong, you can get a ridiculous ROI because my trades on a daily basis go up 30 to 100%, but they can also go down 30 to 100%, right? It's
Right.
not all sunshine and rainbows, right? If there's reward, there has to be risk.
Yep. So I have to ask the dying question that I'm sure you always get asked, and everybody's going to love to hear this. How much, and be completely honest, how much money do you actually need to start doing this? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
When
going to be able
people,
to give you $5 and trade it, right? Like,
no,
let's
no,
be
no, no.
real.
Yeah, yeah. So my recommendation is always that you start with a cash balance of between $1,000 and $3,000. But
Well,
for the
that's way
first,
lower than I thought you were going to say. See, that's what
no,
I
no, no,
mean.
no.
Like, break the stigma.
No, no, no. And then for the first 30 days, I'm not going to let you trade with real money. I'm going to make you trade in a simulator. Because if you can't make money with monopoly money, what makes you think you can make money with real money, right? So it's all about, again, the confidence, the psychology. Do you have your charting right? Are you familiar with how to grab your options contracts, to enter the trade, to put in a stop loss, meaning where do I want to take profit? Or if the trade goes against you, how to exit the trade. So I'm very direct in telling every new student, whether they take my master class or they don't, that look, for the first 30 days, come trade with me. But I want you to do it with monopoly money. And you need to prove to yourself that you understand what I'm saying, the lingo, when I'm getting in the trade, when I'm getting out of the trade, and how I'm managing risk. And then if you can do that for 30 days and be
And the mental
consistent.
capacity that you just talked
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
You have
yeah.
the mental capacity to deal with the ups and downs that happen on a daily basis.
Exactly. But at least you're not doing it with your hard-earned money. Like, I don't want to see people lose their money. That is like the hardest thing that I have to deal with every day. Today was a great example. I took 2 winning trades, 3 losing trades. I mean, the market was very hard to trade because tomorrow is FOMC, where we'll hear from the Federal Open Market Committee. Are they going to lower rates? Now,
Yeah.
my response is they're not going to lower interest rates tomorrow. And then the president of the United States is going to go ballistic. And then Jerome Powell is going to do his thing, right? So you get this, it's interesting. Like, people are always, I don't want to talk politics, and I hate politics personally, right?
Yeah.
But it's what causes the market to go up or down. So
It really
we have to be familiar, right, with events and news conferences and things that are coming up. And I didn't mean to digress there, but it's part of the
perfect.
bigger picture, right, of all the things that we consider. So it's not just the market, it's going up, it's going down, right? Here's what the indicators are telling me, but it's also what's happening with tariffs, what's happening with unemployment, what's happening with inflation, CPI, PPI. And I talk about all of that every morning live with my trading community in the Discord before the market even opens. So we look at all the charts, we look at the news, we know if news is going to drop during the market, and then we trade around.
So what I love about what you're doing, because I think it's so fantastic, like, obviously you are living and breathing this. You're doing this alongside of your community members and stuff like that. It's not like you're just preaching, you're up here preaching. No, you're in the trenches with them. You are trading with them. And I would love to talk about that for a little bit, because you've made this into a full-time thing, because I know that you talk about that this doesn't have to be a full-time. This can be something like it's an additional revenue channel, like we said at the top of the hour. So for you, though, it's a full-time thing because you've created a community, and I'm assuming you have some sort of CRM system or some way of like onboarding customers and stuff like that. So can you talk about that? Would you mind peeling back the layers a little bit? I would love to learn how your business is set up, because I want everyone out there to understand that when you have a passion, and for Bill's, it's this live trading, you can turn it into more than just that thing. You can turn it into a community, a membership, which is then another source of revenue that is sustainable because it is a membership that people are paying monthly for, which is a really fantastic way to grow sustainable income. So I would love for you to talk about that for a second.
Yeah. So let's talk about the automation side of the business as to how it works. Okay, so that's cool. This is easy. So I'll break it down into 3 components. First and foremost, LinkedIn is my only real driver for client acquisition. Okay, and the reason for that is primarily because I'm a 35-year career banking executive running $10 billion banks. So therefore, my background leads and allows for credibility that I know what I'm doing and what I'm talking about, right? So for me to try to replicate that on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook would be very challenging to do.
I just have to say, I would watch your TikTok channel. I think it would be great because I think you're a funny guy, and I just think it would be hilarious to watch you like, Bill's dancing on TikTok again.
Right? You never know. But there's 3 things that I offer. So one is a webinar to learn about, and it's free. How does this even work, right? Because most people are so skeptical. Too good to be true. If you're making 30% a day, you'd be richer than Elon Musk. So what they don't understand is that trading isn't linear, that you don't trade your entire portfolio, right? You're trading small amounts of money. So my average trade is $3,000 to $10,000. But if I'm trading 10 grand and I get a 30 or 40% return and I make 3,000 to 4,000 in a day, I'm done. Okay. So one piece of the program is the webinar. The next one is I put out a weekly watch list, again, free. So teaches everybody, what am I watching, right? My price levels. How am I thinking, right? You get to hear what I watch and how I do it. And then the third one, this is the community piece, is going to be the Discord community. So the Discord community is not only me live trading for everybody where they can watch me. But I also have 4 other professional analysts that all call out their trades with their charts, with their graphs, with everything. So the masterclass is really the biggest piece of the puzzle, right? That if you want to learn on your own, you can do that. If you want to come watch me trade, you can do that too. But then if you want to spend 6 sessions with me for over 16 hours of total content, then that's where the masterclass comes in. And I teach about 2 or 3 of those a year. But all of that in all of this order fulfillment is actually done through Kajabi. Okay, so that's also the CRM. Everything is purely automated. So as soon as you enroll for the master class, it goes ahead and gives you access to the learning portal. So once you're in the learning portal, there's a welcome video. There's all the Zoom links for the sessions. The day of class, you get an email reminder. After class is over, the following morning, you get a recap summary of what we talked about with the video replay, with all of the PDFs, the material, the handouts. And then as we get through night number 4, then all the invites go out for the Discord community to come watch me trade live. So in the beginning, was doing everything manually, but then I found a way to automate absolutely everything.
That was my next question. So I've worked with a lot of executives, right? I spent 12 years in corporate, right? Building out Salesforce and doing all this for the executive level. So my first question is, did you figure this all out on your own, or did you have help doing building a webinar funnel and putting all the parts and pieces together?
Yep. So I started in Kartra using a Fiverr hire from another country. And I was just trying to piecemeal this together. And over time, again, I never expected this to turn into a business, right? This was kind of my passion.
You never do, right?
I never expected to have 1,200 people go through the masterclass, right?
That's
like
insane.
My first class was
Good
like
for you.
20 some people that I all knew from the bank that I worked at for 17 years. But then I learned that this was just coming so fast that I needed help. So I did hire a company that built the website.
That's awesome.
And they do all kinds of crazy stuff that I don't even understand. But, my response is, look, I'm going to tell you what I needed to do. And they're a bunch of really, really smart individuals that just go out and bring it to life. And then they've added so many components after, with like the drip emails and the reminders. And now we're integrating all of my ads. So I recently started running ads in Facebook and Instagram. So now we have ad tracking on everything, to where people are coming into the funnel from, which ad was it? Do they ultimately buy the masterclass? Do they ultimately join the Discord community? I mean, this is
fantastic.
Crazy.
So now you're speaking my language. This is all the stuff that we do, and it is the best part. But the happiness on your face as you talk about it, that's what we do it for. Because doing it for corporate was kind of gross, right? Like, nobody really appreciated it. Doing it for somebody like yourself who never expected it to turn into a business and is just thrilled with the whole thing, it's so much more rewarding. So I'm super glad that you found those people.
You know what is cool though, Megan? It's interesting because people give me shit all the time. Like, well, how much money are you making on the masterclass? I'm like,
don't worry about it.
Well, it's irrelevant, right? So I need to charge you so that you pay attention to what I'm teaching you. But then when you get in the Discord community every day, I trade live with about 190 people every morning. There's 950 in the community, and then they all get to post their wins and their gains. And I've literally gotten so many emails and text messages and, Bill, you've changed my life. You don't understand what you did for me. And that's why I have the smile. Like, I don't need to teach to make money trading the market, right? I do that all on my own. And kind of, people are like, well, why aren't you teaching another masterclass? And it's been 6 months since the last one. And I'm like, because I don't want to. Right. And I'm worried, and I'm teaching and I'm educating in the community now, which is just so fun to watch these people learn something that they didn't even know existed. But it was because they were willing to take a chance on me. And for that, I am eternally grateful, and I will never, ever disappoint them. period.
And that is the best part about what we do as entrepreneurs, right? I never wanted to own a SaaS platform. I was like, ugh. After working with Salesforce and HubSpot and all that, I was like, ugh, that sounds gross. I don't want to do that. That sounds awful. And now that I have it, and you automate someone's life, right? Like a small business owner, and you automate 90% of the business, and you give them back like 10 to 20 hours a week back in their life that they can
Yes.
go out and use for whatever they want. That is amazing, right? And they look at you and they're like, what am I going to do with 20 extra hours? I'm like, I don't know, go out to lunch with your friends, like whatever you want to do. Like, what do you want to do? And
Exactly.
it opens up so many doors for them. And I can just imagine you're doing the same thing, right? Because people are coming to you to figure this thing out. And if they're really paying attention, you pay to pay attention, right? Like
Hmm.
that is the most niche statement, and I hate it, but people who pay attention. They really do. And those are the people that are going to come back to you 10, 15 years from now, and they're still going to be thanking you because they showed up and they paid attention. And that's the
You know
best
what's,
part about being
you
an
want to know what
entrepreneur, for sure.
the other cool thing too is? So many of my students are now bringing their kids into the program, right?
Yep,
And they're high school kids, they're college graduates,
yep,
they're young adults. And so they're
yep,
teaching them, because not only do I teach how to trade, but I'm teaching you the technicals of the market that basically says, if Apple gets to this price level, you should buy it. Or if Apple gets to this price level, you should sell it. Okay. Because it's just the technical of the market. So
right.
you can take that and literally use it from an overall investing perspective to build wealth, right? You don't even have to trade. You
It's
could just
so
invest in
cool.
stocks,
And
right?
honestly, teaching kids another way to be responsible with money at that age. Oh my God, more
Huge.
parents should be doing that. It's huge. I have a funny story to tell you before we sign off, and then
Yeah,
I'll let you tell everybody where to contact you. So
sure.
my youngest son is a freshman this year. He's got, 3 more years until he graduates. Well, now he's going into sophomore year. But so I have 4 kids, right? So I've done this whole like freshman orientation thing. Like this is number 4. And I was like saying to my husband, like, oh my God, do we really have to go to this? We've been to this 3 more times. I'm so happy I went because they were talking about like new classes that the state and the federal government is now like saying that you have to take in high school. And one
Yep.
of them, and it is 2025, people, one of them was money in budgeting. I was like, woo! I stood up, I started clapping, and all the parents are looking at me like, what is wrong with the crazy lady? I was like, it is 2025, and you're just now making this a requirement to graduate high school. Are
Crazy.
you freaking kidding me? Let's just, oh my goodness gracious. So it's super exciting. It
I
was
mean,
super
it's
exciting.
it's why, consumer credit card debt is like 1.3 trillion.
So
I
bad.
mean,
I'm so
it's
glad I don't have
nuts.
credit cards.
It's nuts. Yeah.
I
I
have
mean,
one little itty bitty credit card, and I am perfectly fine with my 500. They keep asking me, "Oh, you've qualified. You can increase your limit." I was like, "I don't need more than $500. I put my gas and my groceries on there and like, some others, and then I pay it off." I'm like, no, like stop. Maybe we buy some extra stuff on it, but it's like, why? It's
no,
just
that's me. I pay
I'm
cash for
using it as a
everything.
credit builder. I'm not doing anything else with it. I don't need to put like, no, I'd rather just pay for my vacations out of pocket. Like we're not doing that. Like that's stupid.
That's
Like,
me, right? I put
ugh.
everything on a credit card and then I just pay off the credit card, usually
Yeah,
the same week, right? I mean,
exactly.
yeah,
That
I'll take the
right.
points.
Just to build it as credit
Yep.
and like take the points or do one like the Costco one has like a cash back, right? So
Yeah, that's what I
anyway,
have.
whatever.
Yep. Cash
I
back.
love that. Such a Costco nerd, let me tell you. With 3 teenage boys, Costco is like my lifeline.
I love it.
They eat they
You and me
eat me out of
both.
house and home. Yeah. All right, Bill. This is such a good conversation. I can't wait to
Yeah,
share
thank you.
this with the world. But first, tell everybody where they can find you. Obviously, LinkedIn, Bill Fanter. But if there's an email or anything that you want us to drop, let's put that out there.
No, you just go to my website, billfanter.com. I mean, it's really simple, right? It's got everything from the Discord to the masterclass to the free weekly watch list to the webinar. It's all there, right? So you want to talk about automation? They're just like, well, how do I find you? Yep, just go to the website. What's the
Yep.
website? It's my name. That's it.
That's what I love telling people. What's your website? It's my name. And all right, we're going to drop all of that information in the show notes too. I highly encourage everybody to go check out Bill's content on LinkedIn too. Like if you're not going to watch his Discard, you should go check out his content on LinkedIn because it's fabulous. You'll learn a bunch of stuff. And reach out to him and have him put you on your daily watch list. I don't know what's great is like I don't know about a lot of it, but I do realize that if I needed to ask questions, he's more than willing to answer your questions. You just
I'm always
reply
here.
back and be like, hey, what does this mean? And he'll reply back. And it's amazing to have someone like that who's still willing to just answer a question for free because everyone, oh, well, you have to charge for that. Or you have to, it's great just having a human that's
Yeah.
willing to just answer a question. So thank you for that.
No, I appreciate it.
And thank you for showing up to the show. And I can't wait to share it with everybody. All right, everybody, that's the wrap for today. And remember, technology and operations are only as good as they work. And we will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.